everybody, it's your girl Ransom, and I'm coming at you with a new episode today with a beloved friend of mine, Genevieve, which I'll have her introduce herself here in a second. I hope you guys enjoyed the previous episode with Keith and his astrological forecast that we got to do and all the good stuff that came out of that. Today I brought on Genevieve because I wanted to speak about inner child healing, and she has been a crucial person in my life when it came to working with my inner child. So before we get into the conversation, introduce yourself, lovely.
My name is Genevieve Faye. I am a lot of different things. Primarily, I do inner child work, spiritual therapy, and medical intuitive. I also do intuitive readings. I do crystals. I do many different pathways. I am a very big learner. I make malas and bracelets. I do those with intention and setting specifically for whatever the person, my client, needs. I am really excited right now because I just got an office space of my own.
Wow,
so,
this is new.
Yeah,
okay.
As of yesterday, so it's very exciting for me.
Littleton?
Yes,
Oh,
Littleton, yeah.
Wow.
So it's very exciting. I am trying to embark more on learning about the world as seen from the inner child, which I think is extremely important. So.
Ooh, I like. Okay, we're gonna go into that in a second, but I do want to start with like your story. How did you get into the inner child work? Like, where do you want to start with that? Just kind of give us like a recap of the journey.
Okay. So for the more mundane aspect, I grew up with a lot of trauma. Throughout my entire life, experienced many different types of traumas, and it has been a very, very significant ride for me. For the less mundane, I have a fourth house Pluto and a Cabby moon.
Wow!
So,
family!
Yes, in that space, those who understand astrology will understand that combination. It's significant, and it literally deals with the inner child. I, in traditional fashion, grew up too fast. I had to be the parent for the longest time. I still do. And now with children of my own, it's another aspect of learning myself. I unfortunately did not start that process until after my children were grown. So now we're all learning together. And really, it's an aspect in the spiritual community of actually looking inward.
Yeah.
Which most people are very avoidant of.
Absolutely. I think it's important. And we've said this before where it's like pretty much like if we're going to go to the root, it is the inner child. Like the inner child is going to hold everything. It's part of the shadow. It is the shadow. And it's like, and like old people always say it all the time where it's like, stay young. Be young. You're only going to be young. You're only going to feel this good. Like, enjoy it and all that stuff. And it's like, and I always like the elder folks who call people kid still, because it's like, yeah, no, keep the kid. You need to keep the kid. It's the only way we're going to keep that curiosity for life and the adventure and learning about self and seeing where yourself shows up. And like, how did you know to go to your inner child?
I was confronted with my inner child.
Usually scream pretty loud.
Pretty much, yeah. I did spend a long time doing traditional Western therapy. Personally, I also went to school for traditional Western therapy. Right. And so I learned a lot of the different modalities of how to do this, how to really delve in and heal a lot of the things. And all of it has led back to inner child. Some of the most horrific things that I've been through in my life did not even compare to the damage that was done in my own family. So in that space, it was from birth. And so I had no other aspect but to really work with the inner child, since that is what has shaped all of my belief systems. That is what has shaped all of my limiting belief systems.
For sure.
It's definitely an aspect of how much can you heal without going to the inner child.
Ooh, I like that. Because it's true. It's so surface until it's not. And it's like eventually you have to get to the voice or the age that is showing up where it's like, hey, this is where it is. This is where it started. This is where you started feeling these problems. And this is how they're now manifesting into all these things, whether in physical dis-ease or in the people you're attracting or the lessons that you're attracting and all of that. And it's like, what would you say was not like the most difficult thing to get into the inner child, but like navigating it, because it's not easy, but it's also like, I don't know, like if somebody new was coming and was like, how do I work with my inner child? Like, what would you tell them? Like, how would you tell them to start?
I think the biggest aspect of starting work with the inner child is just recognizing it. Because a lot of what I have found in the different modalities is that the inner childs that you have, because there's definitely more than one, all of the inner children, the biggest thing is that when you have a space where they were locked, it is generally because they were either not seen or not heard. And in those two, that leads to not being protected. And so if they don't feel protected, they feel they have to protect themselves by withdrawing. And in that is where you're locked. And any of the belief systems that you've found in that space literally will lock in. So whenever a person comes to me for help, they generally have a specific problem that they're looking at that they can't get past. Whenever you talk to them and get to know them, it almost always leads back to a limiting belief that they learned as a child. It's something they won't let themselves get through, because it's no longer protection if they do. Right. And it is very difficult to open up to that space. So it can absolutely take time. But in opening that space and that awareness, the acceptance that this could be something that a little me is holding on to, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities for not only healing, but for actually enjoying your life, moving forward in your life. So technically living.
Yeah, living your life.
Not just surviving.
Yeah. Now, would you say there was ever a fear that if you went into your inner child, you wouldn't be able to get out of it?
Yes. Yes. I actually am still working on mine. I think that's honestly a lifelong process for most of the people. There is an aspect of it that getting stuck in those limiting beliefs is a constant battle for me. I have to always check myself to see, why am I resistant? But I have been able to progress far enough now that I recognize the signs of when that's what it is, or whenever it is an egoic response. Gotcha. Like truthfully today, with being on camera, being seen is really one of the biggest cruxes for my inner child.
That's right.
And
isn't that your Chiron too?
Yes.
Sorry, I was like, wait a second. Now I think about your chart. I'm like, I think that's your Chiron too.
Yeah, it is actually.
Fun.
Because of how I grew up, being seen could technically be dangerous sometimes. And so there is a lot of like safety issue that I have done around that. And I have kept myself in a space of not being seen, not being heard, and people pleasing aggressively sometimes. So sure. I have worked through enough of it to be able to be like, okay, this is terrifying. I'm going to do it anyways. Because that's the only way for me to show that inner child. You don't have to stay there.
Right.
I don't have to be stuck in this aspect of it, is to make sure that they know that this is safe.
It's a lot of parenting involved.
Oh my
Showing
gosh.
up, being like, you're like in your inner child and then also being a parent at the same time. And you're like having to do it all simultaneously. And it is a beautiful journey, but it's very eye-opening. It's raw. You have to be honest with yourself, and that's like part of the whole self-love. Like, you can't truly love yourself if you're not honest with yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to be honest with yourself. Now, what I want to ask for you, because I don't think we've had this conversation, but it's recently came up for me in some of the folks that I've been doing work with, is, have you ever noticed your inner child is not the same gender as you?
I have. I have, actually. It's very interesting because in working with that, I came to realize that I had internalized something that my parents had told me. They were convinced I was going to be a boy. So they had the boy's name picked out. They had all the boy things.
Okay.
So instead of integrating that as, ha, 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 I was a girl, I integrated that as, oh, they wanted a boy.
Yeah.
So there is a level that I grew up in. I traced it back to about 3 or 4 years old whenever I had to be one of the boys. And then I kind of kept that and became more of the tomboy type growing up. And it definitely has shaped a lot of belief systems of how feminine I am allowed to be.
For sure.
So it was very eye-opening on that spot.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask that because it's like it came up for me and I didn't realize it at the time, where I was like, oh yeah, but it also made sense given your spouse is like his higher self is the Virgo energy is so feminine. And so I started thinking about it because I was like, yeah, if your higher self could be whatever and not what you are presenting as here in the human form, then it's like, well, then our inner child for sure, which then made me reflect. And I was like, well, I did go through a huge tomboy phase, and it was like, but that was part of the whole disconnect from the femininity of being like, it's not good to be a girl. Like, it's not fun. And it wasn't so much of like, oh, they wanted a boy. I'd actually say that came from my grandma because it's interesting because like, she doesn't really care for girls, but she definitely didn't want boys. She hated the boys. But then there was the stigma of it's easier to work with boys than it is with the girls. And so it was kind of one of those of being like, well, you know what? I see how my brother's getting treated. Let's just kind of like go in that direction. But then it was like my brother, I definitely think had a problem with that because he'd be like, stop taking my clothes and stop wearing shit. Stop trying to hang out with me and my friends. And it's like, well, like, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, I did not know how to connect to the feminine and be, like, friends like that. It always felt like kind of a facade where it's like, nah, this isn't true. Which then brings you into, like, or what brings me here now where it's like, okay, I think I call myself, like, or I guess the correct term, if we're using it, is like tomboy femme, where it's like I have the good mix between the two, where it's like, okay, we can go either way, but we're honoring ourselves.
Absolutely.
Sure. So I was like, I gotta ask, like, have you had the gender thing? Because I don't think people know about that. Like, they're always like, oh, I just gotta work with what I am. And it's like, no,
you don't.
There's phases, and it's all part of the exploration in the sacral chakra of being like, what is sexuality? What is identity? What is my style and expression? Now, since working with your inner child, what would you say has been like something that maybe you had like pushed down, like whether it was like a hobby or a talent or something that has now been able to flourish because you've done the work?
It's my spirituality.
Ooh.
Yes.
Tell me more.
I have been what they call tapped in or connected to source very strongly since birth. And it was terrifying to my mother. It was terrifying to a lot of my family. At times when I would say things that there's no possible way I should know, or talk to them about the things that I was able to see, when I would tell them things and it would actually happen, it really started scaring them. So when I caused that kind of fear, I suppressed a lot of it because I did not want to upset people into the people-pleasing thing. But it was also safer for me to not upset people.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I was about 9 or 10 years old, I terrified one of my friends, and she stopped being my friend. And that's a big deal when you're that age.
Yeah, losing a friend ain't fun.
Exactly.
It's like, what did I do?
So after that, I really just kind of kept it to myself. I think I did one tarot reading for a friend, but the rest of the time I was just kind of studying and learning on my own. I had a teacher who was definitely not a teacher. They just had a book and thought they were doing well.
For sure.
But at that age, that's yeah. So I would study, and the books that I found, I learned a lot of good things on ways to research and stuff like that too. And plus that plays into my Capricorn.
Problem solving.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I suppressed a lot of the spiritual aspect of it. Dipped in and out for a long time. I never let go of any of the beliefs. but I definitely did not express them until after my son was 24 years old.
Didn't he just turn 25?
He's about to turn 26
Or he's
this
about
year.
to turn 26. Holy shit, and go Epic.
So, yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's recent.
It was recent.
Good
but
for you.
I got,
Hey.
in the traditional fashion that happens in my life, I got the crash course into it. I got put in as a tarot reader on an event day because somebody did not show.
Woo! Love when that happens.
Yes. And I haven't stopped since then. And it's been a lot of growth. A lot of growth.
So I want to ask, because like a lot of times we're like, and this has been like a topic for like the past week, I feel, where it's always like, oh, we want to embody our higher self. Would you say you'd want to embody your higher self or your inner child? Or are they the same?
There's definitely the connection between the two. My higher self tends to be less aware of earthly things, and my inner child is overly aware of earthly things.
Yeah.
So there's a balance between the two. For me, also as a Gemini, it is the embodiment of all of the gale winds that happen in my thoughts. So I can't really separate the two. If I chose to embody one or the other, it would be my inner child. But because at this point, my inner child is absolutely my little 7-8-year-old Capricorn holding the...
She got the clipboard. That girl got the clipboard. She got the passes ready to give out. She's giving tickets, hall monitor.
Exactly.
Love that for you.
But it's mainly because I know that she is actually capable and aware of listening to my higher self as well.
Now, do you think it's hard to rest the inner child?
Absolutely.
Because it's so...
Yes. Absolutely. It's
FOMO, I feel.
It's
like a FOMO vibe where it's like, I gotta stay up.
Yes. And actually I have that happen periodically where I will feel like I am in a space that is absolutely calm and peaceful. And then I realize that the back of my mind is just constantly going, and I can't get it to slow down. There's days where, I mean, I've talked to you before, I only get about 5 hours sleep a night.
Yeah.
And so the rest of that time, that's what I'm doing is I'm thinking and weighing and changing and altering and moving things. It's like a giant slide puzzle in my head sometimes.
So what is your, how does your inner child like to play? I know we were talking spirituality, but it's like, do you just be playing with energy, or do you like...
You know...
Because I'm like, I don't see you putting the brush to the canvas in that sense.
No, so. I don't. I have at one point, because I've tried so many different things to be able to bring all that out. There's a lot of energy play for sure. But the biggest thing for me, because of also being Gemini, is mental stimulation.
For sure.
Conversations with people like this is huge for me. I'm going to leave here so amped, honestly.
I know. I'm so excited. I was so happy to have you here.
I love, honestly, sitting with my husband at night and just discussing the universe and letting the thoughts flow and opening myself and being excited about all of the possibilities.
Yeah.
And that's that connection to my higher self, is that my little one has the excitement.
Yeah, it's not getting like, oh, you can't.
Exactly.
We don't believe in that stuff. That's not real.
Exactly.
It's like, no, anything's possible now.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's very interesting, and our conversations are off the wall. So they're amazing.
As they should be.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're going to talk about anything, talk about everything.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So it's like, and it does, it creates that wonderment, and everybody should be in that wonderment of like, wow, life. It's like it's like too often it's like, fuck, earth is hell. And it's like, no, it's a playground. And like, yeah, you'll slip and fall and you'll bust your ass for sure. And maybe if you're playing tag or the floor is lava, you might get burned. But
absolutely.
It's like, it's fine. Now, I don't know necessarily, because I personally haven't really heard it, but maybe you have, of like, have you heard of any stigmas or like negative connotations when it comes to the inner child or working with the inner child?
I haven't encountered any personally, but I do know that there are a lot of people who they believe that actually dealing with the inner child is dangerous. because it's your foundation.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who believe that even if that foundation is cracked, it's still your foundation. You don't go tearing that up. And I can see the perspective, but for me, that doesn't seem stable.
No.
I would rather have to go through and dig up the entire foundation and reset it.
Yeah, repave that.
Exactly.
Like, it's fine.
Exactly. Whereas most people just overlay it.
And
And
try to build on top of it.
exactly. And it just doesn't, to me, that doesn't seem stable enough to do it. And maybe that's just because of how my life is. I need that stability. So I also have a Taurus Venus, so stability is like, yes. So in that space, it definitely makes it where, for me, I haven't experienced it, but I can see that perspective as something others would.
Yeah. I feel like that kind of goes into like the Western medicine
Exactly.
and whatnot. And it's like, I think they want more of that controlled environment where it's like, okay, we could do hypno or like maybe like, what is it? EDMR? EMDR?
EMDR,
EMDR.
yeah.
I always get those mixed up. But yeah, those things. And it's like, yeah, but it's also like, just sit with yourself.
Yeah.
And just ask yourself, like, hey,
Absolutely.
what's going on, babe? Where did this start? What's the root of the cause? I love that, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know. It's like you've been so implemental in my inner child, even when I don't know that my inner child is speaking, where you'll just come and be like, come here. And you'll hug me. And I'm like, oh, this was so amazing right now. I'm like, this is a fantastic hug. And then you're like, you needed that. And I'm like, oh, you see me. But it's like, how many people do we see with their inner child just screaming? And it's just like,
yes. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I have learned how to really utilize, because I didn't have a lot of motherly energy around me growing up. I have definitely over embodied the motherly energy. So in that space, a lot of people who do need that kind of hug, that kind of healing, just to be seen, just to be heard, they come to me. And so embracing them with that kind of energy a lot of times is very pivotal for them to be able to access that and still feel safe.
I love that. So what does inner child work look like if I was a client, I didn't know you? How would we approach it?
So generally when somebody comes to me, especially if I don't already know them, when someone comes to me, they come to me, like I said, with a specific problem. But that problem that they cannot seem to get through is generally because there's resistance from an inner child. So I will basically get to know them in the space of what their immediate issue is. In my practice and the way that I believe, until we are working into that inner child work, whatever has happened before that day, that's them, until they bring it forward, because then it's not me digging at it and trying to pull it up. Once you get into the space of them understanding that you are a safe space, a lot of that tends to flow through. So I will discuss with them what the immediate issue is, and mentally I usually can figure out kind of the background of where it comes from. And so I go through and I will talk to them about that and see what that brings up. And then a lot of times that just opens it up to them being like, oh, I didn't realize how much is actually attached to my childhood. I didn't realize how much of my inner child is in there screaming. So most people don't realize that almost everything will lead back to an inner child thing, because that's where we based all our belief systems from.
Now, what would you say to someone who's like, oh, I don't have trauma? I had a good child. I love getting those people, because I'm like, that tells me you have trauma right
Absolutely.
there. But it's like, how would you approach that?
I actually have encountered a client like that. And in that space, there is only so much you can do. Because if they refuse to actually access that point of them, if that fear is too strong, because it's a lot of times is what it is, if that fear is too strong, a lot of times I actually will recommend them a stone.
Yeah.
I recommend to them black opal. Black opal is a fear processing stone.
I like that.
It's actually one of the reasons why I wear it all the time.
Better than jet?
Yeah.
What?
Jet helps you process the emotions, and especially like a lot of the sadness.
Gotcha.
But black opal, it brings the fear up So you are faced with having to force it, like to fix it. It brings it forward to where it's one of the more prominent things. And the more you ignore it, the stronger it gets.
Oh, I like that. That's not part of the Molly you made me, right?
No.
I was like, wait, I was like, I don't think that one was part of the one you got me, which she makes Molly's, guys. But no. Okay, so it was interesting because Spirit was like, have you ever noticed the fate lines come up for inner child? Or whatever we want to call those things. I'm like, I don't know the proper term. I just know we see them and it's like, woo, look at those silky threads. Like,
yes.
This is your fate lines.
I call them strings, or parts of the web. Because that's a lot of what it is. It's for me, the energetic threads that kind of connect everything, they come up all the time for me. If I were to access it, I could open it up right now if I wanted to. But I get distracted really easy. So
real.
I'll start trying to fix things, but it's like,
yeah, it's like, actually you got a cluster over there.
Exactly.
Let's like bring that down. You got to be very delicate with those too.
You really
like
do.
You're fucking with the web.
Exactly. A lot of connotation to reweaving or to actually clearing the threads themselves, to healing the fraying that are in the threads themselves. I have learned how to work with over time, and it's amazing what just that little bit can help with a person to be able to access it, because a lot of times I encounter people who have those fears and there's fraying in several of the threads, especially ones that connect to their childhood.
Sometimes they be so tangled into. I'm
Oh
like,
my
ooh,
gosh,
that's a horrible
yes.
braid.
Yes.
That's looking like a lock now.
Exactly.
I had to really like detangle that.
And if I see that, then I generally know that there's a massive trauma somewhere in there that they have not been able to be comfortable enough accessing.
Soul retrieval.
Exactly.
Woo! Past life regressions.
Exactly. That's actually a key aspect of where I come across it a lot is whenever a person has brought ancestral trauma with them.
Yep.
That's where I see a lot of those knots coming through. So.
Yeah. Well, if somebody, like, what would you say, like, the overall message for somebody if they were listening to this would be about inner child or inner child healing?
Try not to be afraid of it. We're never intended to hold on to everything that we do. Hold on to. Every emotion that we have as a child, every instance that we have gone through, we definitely implement it, but they are just supposed to be something we learn from and then release. It's why you can have a small child who hurts themselves and then they come running to mom and it seems like a tiny scratch, but it's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. And as long as that mother sees them and hears them, it's basically fixed with a kiss.
Reiki.
Exactly.
That's literally why I tell them, like, your kid falls and it's like the act of compassion of being like, hold on, honey, it's okay. You're not dying. It's okay. Blood stops. They calm down and then they're like right back off as if they never got hurt again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so in that space is to think of it in that. Okay, yes, it was a major boo-boo, but it's still something that if you did not actually get to feel or were not allowed to let yourself feel it and experience it, that is what's going to be tied. That is what's going to be in there. So letting yourself go through it, even though it sucks, is extremely important to being able to release it from your body.
For sure.
And then be aware that whenever you have carried it for a long time, when you release that energetically through your emotions or anything like that, you also have had it written in your body for that length of time. So you will show symptoms a lot of times of like the flu.
A purge.
Yes, that's just where it's purging from your cellular tissue. It's amazing how much of a crossover there is between that, but we're taught that it's completely separate. So.
Oh, for sure. And I would say also just like being patient, because
oh gosh, yes.
if the inner child has been beaten so much that it's not comfortable, and it's the same when we're talking about connecting to the body and the pendulum of the body. If you are so disconnected from it, you can't get mad at it for not giving you the response that you want. It's like, and that's where we talk about like being that parent, or that maybe it needed a friend, or maybe it needed a sister or brother instead of a parent energy to console it. But like being patient and being like, it's okay, just arms open and being like,
absolutely.
It's okay. It's like I was telling people, it's like, don't beat it. It's already been beaten. It just wants to be loved. It just
Absolutely.
wants to be seen and heard, and wipe the boogers and tears off of its face and the dirt off of its knees and stuff, and just be held. So
absolutely.
Well, yay. I want you to just kind of tell the people, because now you got an office, so,
Yes,
what
I
are you
do.
going to be giving to the folks? And talk about your malas.
I do the malas and the bracelets, like I said, setting intention. So whatever they come to me, it helps to know kind of the stones that will work well for them. It's intuitive. So whenever a person comes to me looking for something specific in a bracelet or a mala, I will talk to them about the situation that they're trying to use it for, get to know a little bit about that situation and what they're planning on using that for, because I also do ones for ceremonial purposes as well. And then I will basically sit with my people, with my higher self and my guides, and have a powwow about it.
What are we gonna do, guys?
Exactly. And then a lot of times they will let me know the best stones that I will need for it, and go through, make the mala itself, and then I set the intention for that purpose as I actually tie each of the knots. The malas themselves, because of the different types of stones I use and what comes through, I do the reciprocity with money, obviously. And so in that space, depending on what stones come through, if it looks like it's going to be expensive, I will always ask the person, hey, is this okay? And if it's not, hey, do you have an alternative higher self?
For sure.
That's actually why with the black opal, because it is a fairly expensive stone that's harder to do as
nice.
beads. And in that, the same thing with the bracelets. So they're generally cheaper. And then if somebody needs something that's a straight intention, so if they're looking for just sacral chakra, you get a whole slew of carnelian in that.
Yeah. Pop that pussy.
But I always try to make it look as aesthetically appealing as possible for the combination, depending on the stones that come through. I do a lot of work with teaching now on how to essentially communicate energetically with stones, which is a very interesting ride. To find out that I have actually been communicating with malachite this entire time, and I had no idea that's what I was doing, which is kind of how a lot of my spirituality has happened. I didn't realize that was not normal.
What do you mean the rock isn't supposed to talk to me?
Right, exactly. And it's interesting too, because I say that, and then people are looking at me. I'm like, they don't, actually have English, guys. It's literally impressions and feelings and stuff. So, and the office space aspect of it is still a very new thing for me. It is on in a dental office.
Cool.
Yes. It's going to be at 5622 South Delaware. So
throat chakra of you.
Yeah.
I love that. That's just okay.
Yeah.
Do it up.
I'm really excited. Right now, it'll be on Mondays and Thursdays, and then every other Saturday. But the ladies that I'm also sharing the space with are very open to me just saying, hey, are you using the space? So outside of that, I can definitely get other people in too. Pretty excited about that.
And what's your business name?
The Wayward Weaver.
Yeah. I love that. That's so awesome, though. I'm so happy you got an office space.
Thank
We're
you.
growing. We're expanding.
Yes.
It's a long time coming.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
It was a long time for them.
So.
Oh, I've had to, yes. The aspect of my spirituality is going so much faster now, and I have to move with it.
The oracle's oracling.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Heck yeah. More foundation, though.
Absolutely.
And that's beautiful. Now, it's what we always say, it's even if it's not the physical place, it's you build it and they will come. So it's you set the path ablaze, and now they're going to start coming to you.
Absolutely.
And that's awesome. Yes, that's for you.
I'm pretty excited about
I'm
it.
excited for you. Yes, you'll have to let me know when you're all set up, and I'll come in and... Well, it's not like I need a blessed place, but you good with your energy. But yeah, let me come in there, see the vibes, and see how it is. But no, that's awesome. And I want to just give thanks again for you coming on here and sharing your story and getting over your fear of the camera. Because you did amazing.
Thank you.
Asked me. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So,
yeah.
I
Wonderful.
appreciate you. I love you.
I love you too.
And for everybody else, please go visit Jen. Is your website still?
It is right now, yes.
Okay, cool. I was like, 'cause I felt like the other week I was trying to show somebody and I was like, she must be going through something in transition. But yes, please go visit her website and check out all her stuff. I get almost all of my readings done by her. Oh, speaking of, real quick, talk about, what is it that you call it? That you pick up the energy? What was it called? It starts with a Z. Because we were doing it, because it's your intuitive readings, and it's like you pick up it was like the heat or something about the environment of the reading that we were doing, but it was like wherever it was, not the zeitgeist. What the hell is it? It'll come back. But yeah, I was like, she's super tapped in, is all I'm trying to say. It's like she picks it all up. It's extremely intuitive. It's like we don't need the cards. Like you is it. So please go support
the remote viewing style.
That too.
Yeah.
Yes. Remote viewing is so fun. But yes, so please go support and check her out. Do you have like a wait list or anything that people could hop on?
Not right now, I don't. The best way to do it is to look on waywardweaver.com and then contact me there. I'm also a Wayward Weaver. I already said that. Genevieve.faye@waywardweaver.com.
There you go. I was like, are you giving your Instagram? Because it's also on there, Wayward Weaver. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So definitely can contact me there. I'm going to be doing more social media stuff too recently, or soon. So.
That'll be fun. Heck
yeah. No, especially since I have office space.
You can really start doing some
yes.
stuff. Oh, I love that. Yay! Well, yes, please go support and show her some love. Get a reading or anything. Get the inner child. She gives the best hugs. Just go support. And then you already know, if you need to find anything about me, you could go to my website, expansionwithransom.com. I do have a 30-day online series that helps you embrace yourself and does a lot of inner child work. So if that's a place you'd like to start, you can always start there. If you have questions beforehand, you can reach out. And if you want to be on the show, just send me an email at expansionwithransom@outlook.com. So I'll see you guys on the next episode.